We're live. We're live on our YouTube channel. Woohoo! Happy Tuesday, you guys. Tuesday, this is Brake Safety Week. Operation Airbrake. You guys familiar with that? If you're not, you're going to be, because that's what we're going to talk about today. So all about the Brake Safety Week. So first off, we're going to get this out of the way. If you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, go ahead and put it in the chat. We'll get to it right away. We'll try and answer all of your questions. If you're wondering about your hiring area, if you could put your city and state, that would be really helpful, or zip code, either one. That'll help me out and I can look it up for you on what we've got available out of that area. If you're looking for different opportunities. But if you've got input on Brake Safety Week, then throw it in the chat. We'll get to that as well. We love your input and hopefully some suggestions on how to be prepared, because that's a lot of what we'll talk about today is how to be prepared. So we do have a couple of announcements. If you missed yesterday's Facebook, where's my cheat sheet? Here we go. We do have announcements on winners for our Steametrics. So Steametrics is our survey that we have sent out. We basically partner with Steametrics and they do a survey on behalf of us that, hey, Mudflap, good to see you. Hey, Amy, I know, I'm ready. There's my Grizz gear. My whole family is all sporting the Grizz gear today, Amy. So yes, Steametrics, it's a series of surveys that basically we can take that information to improve. So as always, with a lot of what we're doing and our tagline, is driven to be the best. That's how we do it, is we're going to you as our professional drivers, get your input. Where can we improve? What areas do we need to work on? Is it information? Is it availability? What is it? Communication, where our weaknesses is what we're getting at. So that's right. Anna says your responses are anonymous with the annual one. Now with the orientation and then the 2-week and then there's a 30-day, your answers aren't anonymous there, but they are really helpful for us to get. So they're not confidential, but they're helpful for us to get the take on where we need to make those improvements. So if we do need to increase our training, we can totally do that based off of where you're telling us we're needing that. So yes, please participate. Please be honest, because we can't make the improvements if we don't know the information. So that's my input on the Steametrics. And we have several guys who've already, or several of our professional drivers who have already filled out the Steametrics, which is awesome. And obviously you are already in the drawings for I think it's a $50, is it a $50 or $25 gift cards? So I'll get those details out to you too. Hey, Jeremy. Hello. So we'll be getting that information out to you as well. We'll either get contacted by Jessica or myself or your fleet manager to get you those cards and determine where you want those sent and all that stuff. So let's talk about who our 3 winners are before we dive into our Brake Safety Week. The 3 winners for the Steametrics are, we've got Lyle Turville, Troy Zek, and Steve Alliger. So those are our 3 winners. Make sure that $50 gift cards, that's what it was. Thank you. Last week we had Kyle Dixon, Joshua Vega, and Felix Perez. You guys were the winners of the Walmart gift card, the Visa gift card, and the $50 to the Decker store. So 3 different gift cards, and I'm not sure which one's getting which, but that's what we've got. So Amy, with the question that you asked me yesterday, I still need to find out that answer for you. They were gone by the time I got to them yesterday, so I still need to find that answer out for you on the monthly bonus and where we can get that. Okay, cool. Okay. So on with everything else. Oh, we'll still have more drawings, by the way. The additional drawings we'll draw every Friday. We'll announce it every Monday and Tuesday, and you'll be getting those until, I think the last one we'll be announcing is on the 4th of November or thereabouts. So cool. All right. If you're not already following us on Facebook, you should do that, because that's where we'll do the initial announcement. And every Monday at 4 p.m. we do a Facebook Live, which is very similar to this, where we answer some questions and give you an opportunity to ask away and hopefully answer other people's questions as well. And then on Tuesday, if you're not already following us on our YouTube channel, follow us and then ring that little bell so you get notified as well when we go live, which is noon Central Time on Tuesdays. Okay? All right. So let us talk about this brake safety week. Operation Airbrake is the mission. No, just kidding. Mission Impossible. Okay. So Operation Airbrake. 5,000 out of service brake violations back in 2018 of this week. So the same exact week a year ago, over 5,000 violations, and they were all out of service violations, not just violations. Amy, you know what? I figured out what it is. I think she's talking about Facebook. It used to kick us off all the time. How rude. But wrong RAM for the computer. So we've got a bigger RAM. So we think that we won't get kicked off. We think maybe. All right. So this time last year, I almost said this time last week. This time last year was the brake safety week, and this goes on every year. I think someone told me yesterday that it has gone on since 1993, but that's 98 is when it initially, but I think the study was from 93. But 5,000 out of service violations just last year alone during this week for the brake safety week. That's a lot of violations. And you know that they're going to be looking for them, so you would think that you'd be prepared and make sure those are up to date. And it's not only trying to avoid the violation, but to create the safety factors that the avoidance prevents. There's a reason we have the brake safety week. It is to create the awareness around the number of crashes that have been caused by having maybe a tear in your brake line or faulty air brakes, anything like that. Those have created horrible crashes, many deaths. And if we would have just taken the time to check our brake lines, to check the air brakes, things like that, you would have been able to determine that was a safety issue that should have been repaired ahead of time and maybe prevented that accident. So that's what this week is all about. Since 1998, when the CVSA, FMCA, and the Canadian Council of Motor Transport Administrators, something like that, when they got together, they created this Operation Airbrake. And the whole idea was to, the goal behind it was to basically reduce the number of crashes or minimize the severity or damage that was created by these crashes that were caused by these brake-related issues. And so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk first about some of the statistics that we have on it because they're horrendous. In my mind, they're out of control. As of this year, back in June, when we did the blitz, every June we've got the roadside inspection blitz. Well, this year, the focus was on steering and suspension systems. That was the main focus. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the only thing that they're looking for during the inspections. And the same goes for right now. Even though this is our brake safety week, the inspections are going to be a full inspection, not just on the brakes, but they're definitely going to focus on that area. Well, this year in June, when we did the inspection blitz and the focus was on the steering and the suspension, the majority of the violations found were actually brake related. And so that just enhances even more how important, how vital it is to be aware of your air brakes and your system itself and make sure that everything is up to par. So creating this awareness is going to be beneficial, not only to you when you're doing it and you've got your hands on it, but also with the preventing the accidents as well. So, and the violations. I just saw something here from Amy. Oh, Amy says that's more than the amount of Decker trucks in the whole fleet, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So we've got about 750, 800 trucks thereabout within the fleets, within all of our fleets here at Decker, and 5,000. Yeah, that is most definitely more. That's a lot of violations. So the statistics that I'm giving you, these are industry-wide. These are not decker wide. But it should have been something I looked into on what our statistics are. But I can definitely give you some of the preventive measures on and how to obviously avoid that. But we do have a lot of things set up, especially using our ELD systems that we have, that will help to prevent it. So good point, Amy. Yeah, that is a huge number. Did I miss any other comments on that? All right, so Anna's got a lot of information here available to you too, so feel free to kind of take a look at some of that, but we'll be going through it. So far in 2019, she might have already posted this, I'm not sure, but so far in 2019, the number of brake violations, over 61,000. Yeah, 61,000. I laugh, but it's really not a funny matter because, again, these violations have been linked to some of these fatal crashes. It's actually, I think, 61,700 and something for brake hoses, tubings, those type of violations, or those type of errors, I guess, with your equipment. So faulty equipment. 2017, the brake violations accounted for 6 out of the top 20, the main top 20 vehicle violations altogether. So you've got a list of 20 here. 6 of those top 20, and these aren't the only violations you can get, but the top 20, the ones that are most consistent, 6 of these top 20 were all brake related. So they had something to do with the brake system altogether. And about 45%, so nearly half, I'm going to round it up. So nearly half of the out of service violations in 2018 were all related to the brake system. So I'm not talking about just brake safety week, but overall in 2018. So pretty horrendous numbers, right? No wonder they got together and decided that this needs to happen. This needs to be in focus every single year, just to make sure that it's top of mind and that we are creating this awareness. So that being said, when this started, they actually got together back in '98. But I believe that the study that they took all the crashes from was from a 93 to 95 year period. And, I probably have that information here with me. But the time period that they had is basically a 2-year time period. And they took a reflection of 1,000 crashes and found out that all of them were related, not all of them, but the majority of them were related to brake malfunctions or brake violations, something within the brake system that was damaged and could have been prevented, because they could have put themselves out of service. They could have gotten it fixed, taken care of it, and then gone back on the road and been safety. But if they had done a proper pre-trip and looked into all of the areas that they should have, there's a reason you do the proper pre-trip. It is not only to avoid violation, but the reason those violations are put into place is for your safety. Safety has got to be number one. Hey, Jose, good to see you. So safety has got to be your number one concern. So if safety is your number one concern, then you're going to do a proper pre-trip. You won't have those inspection violations. You won't be broke down on the side of the interstate or the side of the road when you shouldn't be, because you've done the proper pre-trip. You are preventing these issues from arising, and you're going to know how to handle it when something does arise because you've done your due diligence and prepared for it. So a proper pre-trip. Our ELD systems, they are part of is it DVIR? Not part of it, but in our ELDs, we have a DVIR and integration. And that is going to help you go through your proper pre-trip and post-trip. And it's going to make sure that you're consistent with each step of your proper pre-trip. And actually, if you hop over to our blog, which is drivedecker.com/blog, you can access a copy of our checklist for our refrigerated and our flatbed pre-trip inspections. So if you want to get your hands on that, you can go ahead and do so. But that'll help you be more consistent as well. If you've got a checklist and you're going through everything, it's right there. But again, with our ELD system, and the ELD does help in other areas too. With our ELD system, you can actually It reads when you had your last maintenance on it. It can help read some of the gauges and determine if one of them is faulty or if it is going to have an issue. Yeah, Jose's right. Safety is supposed to be the truck company's main priority. It is. Equipment, not equipment, but customer service obviously is very important. Getting the loads on time, very important, but you're not going to be able to do any of those if you are not being safe. You're going to get wiped out somewhere. You're going to drop the ball somewhere else. But if you're being safe, then you're covering your ground on that. Absolutely. Oh, Amy says, being off the subject here a little bit, but how can basically being ready, how can drivers be prepared for the upcoming winter? Good point. We'll be talking about that here in the next couple of weeks too, but I'll hit on that here in just a little bit too, Amy, on how we can prepare to, how we can prepare and be a little bit safer on that way. Being prepared for the safety blitz though, or the safety brake safety week. Keep in mind, you need to have your driver's license when you're getting pulled in. Make sure you have your driver's license, your DOT number, your registration, your rods, your record of daily service, your logs, and everything. Have those ready for inspection. With our ELD system, you'll be turning on the key, turning the key in the ignition to the on, just so that they can read your e-logs through the Omnitrax and then get what they need. The officer can get what they need, and then they're going to start going through everything else. Make sure that you are doing that proper pre-trip, that you have the preventive maintenance, that it's all current and that you know it. Now, remember, our ELD system does provide that information. It's going to catch any of those faulty, not any, but the majority of those faulty brake issues before they even happen. So our ELD system, being as top of the line as it is going to be able to do that. Plus, the maintenance support, our maintenance support is going to be able to review that, and then it's going to send that information over to you so that they can follow up and basically report back on any of those defects. So if we need to take care of it, we can take care of it right away so that it's not hanging out there for you to get as a violation. Not only to get as a violation, but also to keep you safe and everybody else out on the road safe, right? So those are all right there for you. There's something else I was going to say about that, but I can't remember. It will also, if you have like a tendency, the ELD system, if you have like a tendency of hard braking or something like that, where it's going to show more wear and tear or going to create more wear and tear on your brakes, then it'll also notify our safety manager. So then our safety manager can address that. So we have a lot of safety features. That's what it was that I was going to say. We have a lot of different safety features on our truck. You are aware of our ELD system, and I've hit on that a couple of times, but we also have our Smart Drive system, which is a number of things. The Smart Drive system is a whole system in and of itself that helps to gauge your habits. And we do have a video on that. We've actually discussed that several different times. If you go through our YouTube channel, and you can kind of, if you want, binge watch some of those and see, what kind of tips and tricks you can get, some of the tidbits, I guess, for the Smart Drive system and what all it entails. But it does have the inward and outward facing event recorders, but it has a lot of sensors on there as well that are going to determine some of your driving habits. And knowing your driving habits are where we can determine where we can help you to improve. So whether you're calling it coaches, hey, Jesse, if you're calling it coaches, or if you're coaching, or if you're calling it training, or whatever you want to call it. But basically, it's a support for you to help improve your driving habits so that you're not falling too close and you're not speeding and hard braking all of the time. It's giving you more time to react, because if you're following too close, you're going to end up hard braking a lot, because you'll look away just briefly, and as soon as you turn back ahead, that just doesn't give you much time. So the Smart Drive system and all of the little gadgets that go along with it, all of those sensors are going to be there to help us coach you based off of the information that's provided there. So yeah, more safety features. And Jose is absolutely right. Our job in supporting you, one of the things in supporting you is to provide you all of the safest tools that we can, or safety features that we can to put you in the safely in the driver's seat, and of course make your job easier. So that's what we're here for, and communicating all of that information to you as well. So yeah, that's the smart drive system. Plus we have the lane departure devices. Those are in there as well. But all of those have an effect on your braking system and making sure that it is going to be in good shape. So if you are braking more, it's going to cost the company more in maintenance, because we're going to have to be replacing everything probably more often, at least the rotors. So we'll have to be replacing them more often, the brake pads. But if you were, I was trying to think here, with not only the cost in the maintenance of it, but also the cost of the violations themselves that you can get, which suck. Nobody wants those, right? Adds up, gets on your record, and then you have to wait 3 years. Well, not necessarily. I mean, depends on what the issue is, but you have to wait a while for those to come off. And then after that, you need to make sure that you can get rolling. It's going to cut into your hours because it's out of service. You're going to be sitting there until it's taken care of. Absolutely. Oh, there you go. Anna's got some commercial vehicle manufacturer after October 19th of 94 has automatic brake adjustment system that fails to compensate for wear. Brake hose or tubing chafing, kinking. Yep, these are all things that you're going to be wanting to look for. These are the top 5 brake-related violations that she's naming here. I must have missed the first one, but clamp or rotor type brake out adjustments, brake hoses and tubing, kinking, yep. No or defective ABS malfunction, interior lamp. Okay, so some of these ways that she's listing here, ways that you can really determine if there's an issue is, well, say, what did she have on here? Some of these brake systems, if they're failing to compensate and stuff like that. So think of the low air warnings. You're going to need to determine if it's 55 PSI or less, or they're half governed. Hey, Scott. So if you have anything like that, you need to make sure that those are lower, and the airstream buildup needs to build up to 85 to 100 in 45 seconds or less. Usually it's about 15 to 20 seconds, 15, 17, somewhere around there for it to build up. But those are all things that you're going to be testing in order to make sure that your brake adjustment systems, your ABS, that your whole braking system itself is in line. Your air loss rate, you have the static pressure and then you have the applied pressure. With the static pressure, you're going to go ahead and you're going to release both valves, or you're going to pull, or you're going to push in, pull out both valves for the, what is it? That one's the static, for the static one. And then make sure that it's no more than 3 PSI that you're losing within a minute. And then for the applied pressure, you're going to release both valves. You're going to do the same thing, basically. Apply the brake pressure, the service brake, and then no more than 4 PSI loss in a minute. Yep. There you go. Okay, and so now she's on here. If you're not already aware, Anna's gone here and put in some of the inspections, some of the things that the inspectors are going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for the brake components. We kind of went through some of those and testing those. Anything like your brake shoes, they can't be less than 1/4 inch. Brake drums, there's no discoloration to your brake drums, or cracking, or any indication of overheating or excessive wear. No cracking in the linings. Make sure that there's no oil getting into or onto the shoes, that you don't have any oil saturation. Those are all things that they're going to be looking at for the brake components. That your air and hydraulic fluid leaks are good. Make sure there's no cracks, tears, wrinkles, or anything like that in the hoses. Defective rotor conditions. Now for the push rod travel adjustments, not a whole lot that you can do as a driver, now the maintenance department is usually going to be the one taking care of that. However, if you see like some of the orange underneath there, that's a sign that there could be an issue with your equipment. Basically an indication of an issue. Also, if it's not at 90 degrees, if it's not at a 90-degree angle, that's another way to determine if there's going to be an issue with that. Again, these are all the travel adjustments. Trying to think. What do you got here? Vehicles with critical brake violations and other critical vehicle operation inspection item violations will be restricted from traveling until those are corrected. Yeah, they're going to put you out of service if you don't have everything in order. I mean, even with the hose linings, if they're dragging on the ground, you might be missing a tie strap or something. You need to take care of that. If there's evidence of additional rubbing or wearing, they're going to be needing to take care of that. Yep. Vehicles without critical vehicle inspection item violations are eligible to receive a CVSA decal indicating that the vehicle has passed inspection. So heck yeah, that's our goal, is to make sure that you're getting that decal. That's one of the goals. That's one of the goals on the way to the massive goal. The massive goal, again, it is to reduce the crashes that are caused by having an issue with your braking system. There you go. The goal of the Brake Safety Week is to reduce the number of crashes caused or by the severe faulty brake equipment of the commercial equipment. That's right. Another thing, she hit on this up further if you didn't already see it, but she was talking about some of the hydraulic fluids, measurement of pushrod travel. Oh, there we go. Mismatched air chamber, sizes across the axle, air reservoir integrity and mounting. So when you are checking your ABS, your tractor ABS, you're going to turn the key on. It's going to, right there, you're going to see the little ABS light. It's going to pop on and it should pop right back off. Should not stay on, and it should definitely come on to begin with. If it's not, that's a sign of an issue. Same thing with the trailer ABS. When you get out of the truck, you turn on the key and push the button. You don't necessarily have to get out of the truck, but you push the button for the ABS. Should pop on, should pop right back off if everything's working in order. So that's how you check those. Those are all things that you're going to be needing to check, and those are the things that you should be checking on your pre-trip. So if you are with Decker and you've got your ELDs, that you can go ahead and use the DVIR integration for your ELD to determine or to help you be consistent with your proper pre-trip and your post-trip. Okay, so those are all things that are preventive maintenance for using your ELD system, using your pre-trip, making sure that you are taking the steps to help prevent that. Again, make sure that you're examining all your brake shoes and your linings, and that there aren't any issues, that they aren't worn, and that they aren't lying down or dragging on the ground. Make sure your pads, drums, rotors, those are all in good order. All the air warnings, that they're all working, and they're either coming on and coming off, but not staying on or not staying off, one or the other. So we want to make sure those are in good working order. Check for loose hoses, not only twisted or crinked or worn, but also loose hoses or leaks. If you're seeing leaks, again, if you're seeing any oil saturation, that's a sign. That's there's an issue there. Something's probably ripped, torn, worn, something like that. Need to check for those cracks. Check for cracks on the disc brakes, on the rotors, and inspect all the brake friction. So again, that's where you're going to look at the linings and everything. Make sure your brake shoes are no less than a 1/4 inch, no smaller or no less than a 1/4 inch, so that there's no discoloration or visible discoloration or wearing on them. If you have questions, yes, if you have any questions whatsoever on the Brake Safety Week, and maybe you have some issues with the truck, maybe you need to go in and take care of some of the maintenance, Breakdown telephone number, the extension is 8250. So make sure that you get a hold of Breakdown. Let them know if it is something that's out of service. If not, if it's something that we need to schedule you in for maintenance, then get with your driver manager, your fleet manager, so that they can get you into the shop so we can take care of that. We do not want you out on the road in danger with any equipment that's faulty or have an issue. So we want to make sure that those are the things that we're taking care of. Again, that's why we are doing this. That's why they have this Brake Safety Week. And that's why we are providing you with this opportunity, this question and answer, this opportunity to give you the information you need to be well prepared for it. So there you go. That's our ELD system. Our ELD system, our braking system, and everything that's working together to keep you safe, right? Does anybody have any questions on that, or am I missing anything that you would suggest we are looking into or that we need to look over? You do need to be prepared when the inspector comes. So not only have done the proper pre-trip, but make sure that you have the right documentation as well, that you have your registration and your DOT number, and of course your e-logs, and that you know how to how to access it. Because remember, this is still a full inspection. So you have to have all of that information right there. And we are using the Omnitrix ELD. You need to know what system you're using. That's part of the inspection. If you don't know the system that you're using, you need to look in it. Turn on your Omnitrix and get your hands on it. Okay. What am I missing? Oh, Driver Appreciation Week was last week. Switching gears, and then I'll get back to Amy's question earlier, which was a great question and great timing for this time of year because it is a lot cooler today. But with Driver Appreciation Week, you guys, if you missed your gift from us at any of the terminals, let us know, or when you do get into one of the terminals, let us know so that we can hand that over to you. We've got basically a list of who's already received it and who hasn't. So if you haven't, we might be making some calls trying to keep track of where you're at to get you in, Jason or Darren or whoever might be keeping track of you to make sure you get your hands on it. But even if you aren't able to get this week, maybe next week into one of the terminals, we can get you your driver appreciation gift because that is yours. You have earned it, more so. Definitely earned it. And if you've got a kiddo at home that you want to get a little gift for, a lot of the terminals, I think, still have the kids' goodie bags. So I want to go through with everything that they have in them, but then it would lose the surprise. But I can tell you that they have these little guys in them. These are a hit in my house. I don't know about you guys. These things are awesome. Hey, Todd. How goes it? Are you ready for Safety Week? It's already in full swing, so I hope you're ready. Brake safety. But yeah, so anyways, these are in the little kitty goodie bags. But I just want to make sure that you guys have gotten your gifts. We are very thankful for everything you've done. We hope you enjoyed some of the little videos that we created for you. Basically, it was for you to get a kick out of, enjoy, kind of get to know some of the fleet managers and some of those in-house that are kind of working behind the scenes for you, and the goofiness that we might have. Which one was your favorite? That's what I should be asking. Which one's your favorite? I thought they were pretty good. I got a kick out of them. But okay, so let's talk about Amy's question about preparing for the fall weather. And we'll have a video coming up here. You can actually go kind of sift through some of our YouTube videos from last year of getting ready for the fall cool times of year, I guess, and being prepared for that. One thing that I really would like to stress is if you are coming around a corner, if you're coming through an area, especially on these 2-lane roads where there are a lot of trees around and there's a lot of leaves. If you're going through an area where there are a lot of leaves piled up, I just ask that you, if you can avoid them, obviously do so. Because underneath, it's as the time of year is getting cooler and cooler, it can get really slick underneath. Not only just between the leaves themselves and the way that they're catching the water, they're not absorbing the water, but it's just getting caught in between all of them. But also the ice that can build up underneath those. So if you're coming around a corner and there's a pile of leaves, if you can avoid that, please do. I know that it seems super fun to drive through, and guilty obviously, but to drive through and then just kind of, just like a mud puddle. Then you've just got all of this color coming out from all directions of the vehicle. But please, you guys are going at faster speeds, and when you're in town, obviously it's a lot of weight to slow down. So I just ask that you be very careful and be aware. If you can avoid that, please do, because of the dangers of it. So that would be my number one thing. Also, we do have a video on how to use the APU unit. With it getting cooler, I know a lot of you are more concerned about the heat, I guess, than it is about the cooler temperatures. But for those of you who are concerned about the cooler temperatures as well, we've got the bunk heaters in the trucks. Those are in all of our trucks, but we also have the APU unit. So if you need to know how to run the APU, we do have a very detailed video where Matt walks us through how to use the APU properly. Now, this is, let's see, we've got a little bit newer, I think, in the trucks that came out back in January, or more so June and July. The APU units on them are a little bit different. So we'll be getting an updated video out for you as well on how to use that in case there's any difference from it. And I haven't got my hands on it yet, so I'm not sure, but we'll be getting one of those out for you just so that you know. However, most of the APUs will match the ones that we did the video on last year for you to get your hands on and to review. But it'll help answer a lot of questions. I know it has for a lot of people, and even if it's just troubleshooting, because these things are super awesome to have, the APU units, the GPS, the onboard scanner, all these units are fantastic. They're electronics though, and electronics, they can get batty sometimes. And so you definitely need to know how to troubleshoot them and how to work with them. Sometimes with them, you just need to turn everything off and let it reset and turn it right back on, and it'll work. Power it right back on. Couldn't tell you why, it just does. So if that's the case, obviously try that. But if you're having additional issues, then get with our shop. You can get down with Breakdown at 8250 for the extension, and they can kind of walk you through some additional ways to take care of that. Now, our safety extension, for those of you who are wondering how to get a hold of safety, is extension 8533. And you can get with them if you have any additional questions on the Brake Safety Week. Also, some of the troubleshooting, they can walk you through some of that as well. They're pretty darn handy, and they're available for you, as well as the rest of us. Any other questions on that? So I guess, Amy, my advice is just making sure that you're full with all the fluids, that you're not low, on anything, that your batteries are well, that they've got full charge, that they're not running low. You shouldn't have that issue with the, with the fall like you could in the heat, because the heat really does wear down the batteries, but you shouldn't have as much of an issue in the fall. Okay. Excellent. Cool. Well, that's that. Oh, Ava did throw on here. Here is the telephone number to our MeMD. If you're not familiar with some of the benefits that we have, now our medical, dental, vision benefits, those all start after 90 days of hire. And you can get more information on our website and our blog on that, actually, if you want. Or from one of the recruiters, 888-668-0698. They can give you more details. But we do have a couple of programs that we've recently been talking about that is not, you don't see it all the time. You don't always know where to find that information. We want to make sure that you have got it handy and that you're using it whenever possible. First of all, we have the EAP, the Employment Assistance Program. And that is free to all Decker employees and their extended families. So whether it be your wife, your child, it could be your in-laws, but it's available to all of you. It is a free, confidential help, absolutely free though, confidential help, and it's really for life stresses. So whether it's, it could be for finances, it could be divorce or parenting or caretaking, really anything there. It could be mental stress, physical stress, that you're going through. If you just need to talk through it, and there's 3 consultations that you can get, 3 free consultations as well. So it's for employees and it's for their extended families. The number to that, she's got right here, it's 800-872-1111. And we want to make sure that you know that it's available. Use it if you need to, even if you're not sure if you need to. It is available, so take the time and use it. They're certified counselors on those phone lines, so take advantage of that. And then speaking of certified counselors, not only certified counselors, but also certified physicians available through the MeMD. Now, MeMD is available to our Decker employees who have our Decker insurance, so MeMD. And really what it is it's say you got a head cold, or maybe you've got a sore throat, maybe your eyes are bothering you, or you fell and you hurt your arm or something. I mean, really anything that you can think of. And you want to go ahead and you think you might need to go to the doctor, you're not sure, but you don't want to waste the time sitting for hours, or you don't want to leave your house because you're in pain, or you don't want to get out of the truck because you just someone come to me and take care of it, right? Okay, so MeMD, that's what it's all about. It is basically a virtual doctor. So you take your computer, you take your phone. Where is my phone? Take your phone, take your computer, get it all lined up. You can call them. The telephone number is 855-636-3669. And if you just hop on, there's an app for it. I'm trying to see if I still have it. Sometimes I have to take apps on and off because you have too many, right? Okay, so you hop on here, you see, I just had it. You pull up the app and you can actually have a face-to-face conversation with your MeMD provider. So, and these are certified physicians with actually an average of 7 years experience for them, because there are a lot of very experienced physicians available, but also counselors available. So you have available counselors through MeMD as well, so person to person. And then once you have some of the sessions with them face to face, which you can, they can also advise you to go to a specific doctor after the fact, or counselor after the fact, depending on which route you're going. Also, they can do prescriptions over the phone. So whether you need refills, or if they feel that you need to be prescribed something, they can do prescriptions over the phone or app or whatever you call it. But it's a face-to-face opportunity so that they can see what's going on and try and help you out without the inconveniences of going to the doctor. So that's the MeMD. So the EAP is a employee assistance program available to all Decker employees and their families, and the MeMD is available to our employees who have the Decker benefits. So go ahead and take advantage of those, you guys. We went out and found some good ones for you, and that was try to create a good environment for you to take care of some of those ailments, those injuries or sicknesses out while you're out on the road without having the hassle of making the appointments, because sometimes that's the hardest part. And then you're getting more worn out because you're sitting there in those waiting rooms and you're so uncomfortable, and they tell you something that you feel like you could have gotten over the phone. So that's what that is. Take advantage of that if you can. All right. Now, I should mention, I know I only have a few minutes, but I do want to kind of go over some of the different opportunities that we have here at Decker too. We do have a couple of updates. Some of you guys already know the Las Vegas area. We are completely full there. We don't have any other positions available out of there. However, we do have a few positions available in our weekly home time if you live in Los Angeles, California, Missoula, Montana, Kennewick, Washington, or Seattle, Washington. I do have a couple of positions there that will get you home weekly. So obviously you're going to be running a more confined area, more of like 11 Western. If you're living in the Los Angeles area, a lot of I-5, probably into Arizona, probably into Nevada, but a lot of I-5. If you're in the Montana, Missoula area, might see as far as South Dakota, Rapid City area, but probably not much further. And again, getting home on a weekly basis. But we still have the over-the-road positions out of the West as well. So if you're looking for coast-to-coast in the flatbed division, Oregon, California, and Washington, we do hire out of there. Expect about 4 weeks out at a time for there, though. So definitely out on the road longer, able to build some miles under your belt and some home time as well. But about 4 weeks at a time for those 3 states. Now, in some of the other over-the-road areas, Texas and Oklahoma and the Carolinas and Tennessee, we could get you home every other weekend for those areas, still over the road, but a little bit better home time. If you live in Alabama or Georgia, we can get you home on a weekly basis. And of course, in the Midwest, we've got Illinois, Iowa, parts of Indiana, parts of Minnesota. Where else am I talking? Kansas City area, St. Louis, Missouri. We can get you home on a weekly basis for our flatbed there. So if you're looking for any of those, if you have any questions on any of those, go ahead and leave the zip code or your city and state in the chat and I can answer you. Either here right now or on the live or on the replay, because that'll be available to you as well. But you can also call our recruiting department, which the number there is 888-668-0698, and we can answer some of those questions. So, all right, and then, get a little bit more information on that too. All right, Amy has to run. See you later, Amy. Look who I didn't realize. Oops. I just hit a comment. Sorry. I didn't mean to. I hit a comment on accident. Sorry, Anna, that was yours. I think you were putting the telephone number. Yeah, if it's important to do this, or it is important to do this before you need a doctor, call 855-636-3669. Okay, so it's the MeMD telephone number. I must have hit it by mistake here. Sorry about that. I can see it, but it shows that it's hid. Anyways, what else did I miss on that? I think that's it. Show. There we go. Yes, Decker Truckline teamed up with MeMD to make that happen. So take advantage of it. I know a lot of companies are looking into different opportunities like that because it is really helpful for you guys when you're out on the road. Helpful for us. We don't have to leave our seats. Why not sit here? Excellent. Also for the Western states, over the road refrigerated, which is based out of Missoula, Montana, that one's coast to coast as well. A lot of West and a lot of Midwest, but it's about 2 weeks out, 2 to 3 weeks out, I think is more accurate because closer to that 3-week period, right around, the 17 to 21 days is kind of the sweet spot for a good level of take home each week. So yeah, if you have any questions whatsoever, get a hold of one of the recruiters, 888-668-0698. Kansas City area is a very busy area, heavy freight for us for our refrigerated right now. So if you are looking for weekly home time and maybe even some guaranteed pay, we definitely have a position available for that. So it's our Midwest refrigerated guaranteed pay, and it's $12.50 a week. But the more than upside on that is that you can actually make more than that $12.50 every single week. And the majority of those who are running that division, they actually are. So they're making beyond that $12.50 each week. So if you want more details on that, let me know. It's Omaha, so the Kansas City area, most definitely, and Omaha, Nebraska, over to Chicago, Illinois, along I-80 there, are real busy for freight. We've got great opportunities there. From Albert Lee to Chicago on I-90, we've got some opportunities there, which will get you, again, it's still home on the weekends and that $12.50 each week. So there you go. There's the number, 888-668-0698 to talk to one of the recruiters just to make sure that you're in the hiring area for that Midwest refrigerated. But if you're not and you're looking for flatbed, or maybe you are and you're looking for flatbed, we do have the guaranteed pay for that as well, which is $13.50 a week for the weekly home time. Live in Mason City, Iowa, Fort Dodge, Iowa, up to Chicago or to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, back to Mason City. Anywhere along that route would basically be within the hiring area for the Midwest flatbed guaranteed pay. And that's $13.50 a week. Okay, same deal though. You can still make more than that $13.50 a week as long as you're getting your paperwork in, you're available for dispatch, no driver service failures, no late deliveries. And they say get your paperwork in. So as long as you meet those basic requirements, those qualifications for the guaranteed pay, then you're going to get that guaranteed pay at least. Now you could get more than that, which for the refrigerated division is very common. For the flatbed, it's still very possible. We do have a good number that are still getting beyond that $13.50 a week. I don't think the percentage is as high in the flatbed as it is in the refrigerator, but it's still pretty high for going beyond that $13.50. If you don't meet the guaranteed pay requirement, then you revert back to the pay per mile, which is going to be based off of your experience. For flatbed, it's going to be anywhere from 47 to 54 cents a mile. For refrigerated, anywhere from 40 to 50 cents a mile when you first start off. And then, you get a penny raise after 90 days and every year on your anniversary. The cap right now is at 54, but that'll revert back to the cents per mile if you're not available for dispatch, or you have a driver service failure, late load, or you didn't get your paperwork in or something like that. Then that would revert back to the cents per mile, which again still could be above that $12.50 for refrigerated or $13.50 for flatbed. What else do I have? We have the short haul position, our short haul flatbed. If you're not familiar with that one actually is going to get you home multiple times a week. So not just on the weekends, but multiple times a week. In some cases, it could even be daily, but usually every other day. In the Sioux Falls area, it's about 3 times a week. And that pays $1,000 with all that home time. So great combination of home time and take home each week. So if you have any questions whatsoever on that, get a hold of the recruiting department at 866, I've almost forgot the number, 888-668-0698. So again, 888-668-0698. And let's see, Omaha, Nebraska, Fort Dodge, Iowa, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Those are areas that we'll hire for that position. So yeah, if you have questions, you let us know. And of course, we do have, last I heard, we had one position available for our hopper. It starts at 11 p.m. So it is a night driving, just like, it's very common to have night driving at least sometime while you're with us, whether it's refrigerated or flatbed, could even be van. But in this hopper position, it's night driving because the shift itself starts at 11 p.m. And it's 2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off. Pays $250 for the Monday through Friday shift. And then the Saturday and Sunday shift, it pays $275 for each shift. But again, it's every other weekend off, because you've got 2 on, 2 off, 3 on, that's a 3, and 3, and then 3 off, and then reverting back 2 on, 2 off, 3 on, 3 off, and so forth. Okay. All right. Again, that telephone number is 888-668-0698. For that hopper position, you must live in the Fort Dodge, Iowa area. So within 25 miles would be ideal, but not necessarily with the 50 miles we can probably do as well. But you're driving. That hopper position is slip seating, so it's not like our other positions where you're bringing the truck home with you on your home time. With that hopper position, it's slip seating, so you have to bring the tractor and trailer back to Fort Dodge terminal on your home time. Jesse says, out of Arizona. So Jess, I have the over-the-road refrigerated. So with your experience and everything, you'd be at 48 cents a mile, which is the top of the starting pay for that division. 48 cents a mile. You do get a penny raise after 90 days and a penny raise every year on your anniversary. We've got the monthly bonus, which is going to be an extra 4 cents a mile that you can get. You can get layers of that, though. So you could get 1, 2, 3, or 4, depending on where your scorecard is at. So the scorecard is our monthly bonus, and there's several factors on it. You've got your miles, your fuel efficiency, your idle time, CSA points, preventable accidents, and those are all things that could, driver service failures, did I say that one? But those are all things that would factor in on whether or not you were able to get your monthly bonus. You're up to your 4 cents more per mile. So if you get a full 1,000 points, then you'll get the full 4 cents per mile, and definitely doable for our bonus features or whatever. And they're obtainable is what I'm getting at. So, yeah. No speeding tickets or anything though, because that could be bad. I'm just joking. Okay. What else? What else can I tell you? So that's the over-the-road refrigerator. So you'd be based out of Missoula, Jess. Getting you up to Missoula, we'll probably do a rental car. That's our norm. And we'll take care of the gas and the hotel and the meals. For orientation, we pay $800. $100 Visa gift card. We're doing that right now too. Usually get that on like a Wednesday. But the orientation pay is $800 in addition to that Visa gift card. $400 of that's going to be on a comp check, and we'll be able to get that to you as soon as you've completed orientation. The remaining $400, that's going to be direct deposit. We just like to front the first $400 so you've got some cash on hand when you get dispatched out. So you're not scrimping right then and there. But the rest is going to be direct deposit. So every Friday, direct deposit. Get your paperwork in by Saturday night at 10 p.m. to get your deposit, your settlement each week. Yeah. Oh, orientation, I should mention too. So yeah, once you do your physical, drug test, that stuff, we do the PCE, which is like range of motion and resistance. We do the physical. We do DOT physical. We do both the urinalysis and the hair follicle for drug and alcohol testing. You'll go through a lot of the company policies and procedures, running the refrigerated unit, meeting your driver manager, your fleet manager, your safety department, some of us other knuckleheads that'll be there available for you. We've got, what else do we have during that? You go and meet the shop, get into your truck, get your truck situated, get it comfortable, and then usually dispatch out Friday morning. So that's usually the norm for that. Then you start making some money, right? We do try and route you towards home on one of your first dispatches, but it's not always your first dispatch. And it really just depends on where you live and what's available, coming through. Because so it's going to be different from week to week. What's available. So it'd be I would say it's usually a couple dispatches before you get home. But your home time, you're looking about 2 to 3 weeks out at a time, and then home for 2 to 3 days. Cool. All right, so I have kept you guys, and I appreciate you hanging in here with me. I do want to hit on just a couple more things for the Operation Airbrake. Operation Airbrake, again, just as a reminder, that was formed back in '98 when the CVSA, the FMCSA, and the Canadian Council of Motor Transport Administrators got together and decided that we needed to put an emphasis on brake safety. Because of the number of crashes, well, not only crashes, but fatalities and crashes related to brake failures, they decided that we needed to put an emphasis on that so that we could help to reduce that number of crashes. And not only will these pre-trips and this additional pre-trip process help to reduce the number of crashes and accidents and violations, it's going to make your truck's going to be running better. The maintenance overall cost is going to be better. It's just safer. So it's going to put everybody else in a better spot. So please make sure that you're doing a proper pre-trip. If you're on our ELD system, you do have the the DVIR. I can't remember what those initials are. The DVIR, which is an integration into our ELD system, which will help you be more consistent with the pre-trip and post-trip plans. Okay. Yeah, so that's right. Anna says, stay in front of the maintenance requirements to keep your fleet healthy and your brakes in good shape. And just like Jose had mentioned earlier, every company's number one goal should be safety. And our number one goal is the safety of our drivers and those around. So we want to make sure that we're doing the best to support you. So on the back end, to support you and make sure that you've got all the resources you need to be as safe as possible. So being prepared for this inspection, make sure you have your driver's license, no brainer, a driver's license number, your DOT number, that you have your registration, your rods are ready, your record of daily service is up to date, ready to go, your e-logs, they're all ready for inspection. You've done preventive maintenance, make sure that you are up to date on all that. Your ELDs will have a lot of that. They will help identify if there's any faulty issues, if there are faulty issues. Also, make sure that you're examining your brake shoes and drums, that you're examining all the lines, inspect all the air systems and test them to make sure that nothing's contaminated with oil or any other fluids. Make sure that the low air pressure, the low air warnings are working. Your ABS, your trailer ABS and your truck ABS lights are in proper working order. They pop on and pop right back off, and they're working that way. Check your low air signals and listen for any leaks that you might have. Make sure that you're walking around the truck and checking for loose hoses, might be missing some tie straps or leaks. Keep your ears open for leaks. Check for cracks and disc brake rotors or additional rub. Make sure that it's no more than a quarter on your pads. There's more than a 1/4 inch of pads available. Check for cracks on your disc, your brake rotors. Cracks are that the brake friction is not overwhelming. The linings are thick enough, and there aren't any visible cracks or wears or discolorations or anything on the brakes themselves. So those are all things that will help you when you are doing your pre-trip and doing your, just randoms. Every time you get out and walk around, you're kind of checking things out, because you never know when something can happen and put you out of service or put you into a predicament. So this week, this started on Sunday, the 15th. It's actually running through the 21st. So this is our brake safety week, inspection week. Like I said earlier, the brake safety is a huge concern. It's right around half of all out of service violations are for brake related or brake systems related. So at least for 2018, for the out of service, they were. And again, last year during this time, 5,000 trucks were put out of service because of brake related violations. Just for this week alone, 5,000, just for this week alone last year, 2018. 2017, out of the top 20 violations that were consistently coming up, 6 of them were all brake system related. So that's a pretty good chunk with all the things that's going on in the truck, 6 of the violations are brake related. Not just violations, but those are going to be the top violations. And yeah, so far this year, well, even think of in June during the blitz. The blitz was on steering and suspension systems, but yet the number of brake violations exceeded that of the steering and suspension, and that was their focus. That's where their eyes were. But yet still the brake violations outnumbered it. That's how important it is, you guys. These are heavy trucks that are going down the road. It takes a long time to stop them, and the brakes, that's what you're relying on. Don't put yourself in danger or anybody else. So you bet, Jesse. Thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you here in just a little bit. Okie dokie. All right, you guys, you have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember, for any additional tips or even additional discussions, we are here every Monday, or actually we're on Facebook every Monday at 4 p.m. Central Time. So hop on, make sure that you follow us on our Facebook channel to get any of those tips and relevant discussions, I guess, here in the trucking industry. And then, of course, join us every Tuesday at noon right here on our YouTube channel, noon Central, for our Q&A opportunity for you to ask your questions, and hopefully we can provide all the information you need to be well prepared while you're out there on the road. So thanks again, you guys. And congratulations to those of you who won the Stereometrics drawings this week. It's Steve, Lyle, Troy. You guys will be getting a call here in a little bit. If you haven't already, you might have already received that call. Trying to figure out where you want these gift cards sent. All right. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week. We will see you back on our Facebook channel at 4 p.m. Central Monday morning or Monday afternoon, and back here next week on Tuesday, noon Central. Thank you.